Hello, this is Alex from cables.gl, and today I am joined by Stefan from the Cables team. So, hello.
Hey there.
We were talking about extending and writing your own operators for cables because, sometimes you get an idea and you're like, I wish I had this extra thing to help me patch an awesome project. And we decided maybe we'll look at it together because I don't have that much coding experience, and I'm unfortunately a little bit too lazy to read the documentation that's available, which we will include at the bottom of this video in the description. And I want to learn with you by asking questions about certain things that I can do, or maybe some kind of fast ways of introducing someone like me into extending operators. So, when I feel like it's such a simple little thing, I don't even feel like requesting it as a feature, which, by the way, we do like you to do. And we will also link our new forum that we're working on. So you can go to it with the link that we'll include and vote on different features and requests and things like that. But let's just say I have an operator and, for example, date and time, and I need something extra. Like, how would I go about doing it?
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. It's also a good exercise, I think, to brush up on what has changed and what is different with a few new concepts that we have. There's lots of videos on coding with operators, so the actual syntax of coding operators and API with triggers and ports and everything. We won't cover that much. More about the workflow and structure, but we also link these other tutorials and the documentation and examples. So we have like a really simple setup. It's a patch that gives us date and time, which is an operator that returns the current date and time. We're converting this number to a string, putting out a text mesh, and then we're getting the seconds here, and now we're counting down seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have this setting that basically sets the update rate. So if I set this to something like 5,000, it will update every 5 seconds. If I do this in 500, it will update every half seconds. If I do this in 50, it will update every 50 milliseconds.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm not getting milliseconds out of this, right? So
Yeah, it's not part of the default uh, operator outputs.
yeah, which is fine. But now my update rate of like something below, and if I don't want to use a timestamp, which has all the information in there, is not really worth anything. And if we
Mm-hmm.
look at this and see, okay, it gives year, month, day, hours, minutes, um, then we should be able to kind of um, put milliseconds in there, right?
Yeah, and of course I can cable this together with some math ops and do some reading up on how many milliseconds are in a second. But I just want it in my op, like right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is also a simple example, but to go there, maybe that's also good to mention. Like with every op that we have in cables, we have this page where it has these brackets, and you click on View Code, and then an editor opens and can open the editor, and then you see the code of the op. So every op
Hmm.
that is in cables is basically open source. You can view the code.
Yeah, every single one. Awesome.
So now by reading a bit of code, I'm like, okay, there's years, month, and something that is out value,
Hmm.
outputs timestamp, seconds. Just go by the names that we know from this other panel, right?
Hmm.
And then out seconds seems to be set to d get seconds, and d is being defined as new date, and this is default JavaScript. So if I go into the developers console here and do new date, um, I will have the same object basically that the op is using. So if we do it the same way, and then do d get seconds, get then we basically get the same number of seconds. This is not counting though.
It looks like getting handy with the console. It doesn't seem too difficult, but like I should open it in my browser, whatever it is, Chrome or Edge or Firefox. Like there's probably a hotkey to open the console that then I can interact with the different functions and data that is reported back by those functions directly in my console. And with this, I can start to pick apart the operator, the functions it uses, and to kind of identify which is maybe a standard function or maybe something that's deeper inside the operator. But in this example, yeah, so we found that date is the important one, and it actually works in the console, and we get reports.
Yeah, and if you're completely lost, I mean, if you're really working standard functions, you could even Google this, like date get milliseconds. JavaScript should lead you somewhere.
Yeah, I think I'm at that level. So I'll just like copy paste this stuff and hopefully find something, or I can even just start reading up on basic JavaScript stuff and maybe get into that a bit.
Then by using the developers console, this is where I'm showing this. It even hints you at what you can do. So it even offers you us this get milliseconds functionality.
Nice.
So
well, that's easy now.
Yeah. So see, maybe that's what we want, but we want it in here and we want it in the op so that we then can change our patch to update this text faster, right?
Yeah, okay, that's a bit more challenging. All right, so, but, okay, yeah, makes sense.
So, but now this is a cable's core op, and you cannot edit this, and you cannot change anything in here.
Right.
So, closing this again, and now we have the second concept in cables that we do every op that we have, and if you think it should be better or needs a special case functionality for your use case, or even has a bug that you need to quickly fix, you can clone the code. So you basically go here, and where we said view code before, you can press clone opcode. This then answers, and you give this then a name. And as you can see here, it's in your user's namespace, and this means it's available to you, and you can. There's some ways of sharing this in your patches with people, but this way we now created this op, which we call a user op. And now if I press escape as usual and go for millidate, I can add this.
Right. Yeah, and I see like a little icon next to it, and that's my op in my kind of op library.
Yeah, right. User ops will have these, as you can see.
And on any new patch, I'll see it as well. Oh yeah,
that's true. Yeah, these you can use
whammy
in any new patch. You also see that it gets convoluted if you're trying out lots of stuff. Yeah, we'll get to that later. So, but now I got this op under control, and by under control I mean different from that. This has view code, and this has edit code.
Nice.
So if I now open this edit code and open this editor again, I will close this because I cannot save any of this. But this is the same code. We just copied the whole op. And now I still have this d get milliseconds, and now I'm just fat fingering basically my way to what I think I should be doing, right? So with no coding at all, I might guess something. Okay, let's name this out milliseconds.
We're saying copy pasting is not coding. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's just like if you copy paste the right stuff, then it's fine, fine, I guess. So now we have this out month, out seconds, set d get seconds. We have d get milliseconds. Looks similar enough.
Yeah,
So
it looks like something for the parameter panel because those strings, the red words look like the stuff in the parameter panel.
that's true. This is like the red ones. This the strings. This will be what appears here or what appears
Mm.
there now. So now, um,
Can I save it already and like see that change?
you can save it already and then see that change. Yeah.
Yo, this
Uh,
is all.
and if you're stuck, like if you have syntax errors, Cables will warn you and let you edit your op. So don't
Mm-hmm.
fear doing stuff in there. And
Mm.
again, all the stuff that I just copy pasted, we explain in a few YouTube tutorials that we all link, and also we have a repository that is called Coding with Cables that has examples on how to do arrays and floats and strings and everything to get you into doing these, like how do I define imports and outports, right?
I see. Okay.
So about what we did now, okay, we're unsaved again, so we save, and there we go. So now we have an
Yeah.
update rate of 500, which is the default. I'm changing this to 50 again. So we're updating a lot faster, and here's the milliseconds.
Mm.
So then if we close this to see something, and then if we move this over to our new milliseconds, there we go.
Nice. Well,
And
that was easy. Yeah.
to then show you, okay, I'm saving this patch, and as we said before, we can now do a new patch. Let's do an
Mm-hmm.
empty one. Um, and this is then available in all of my patches. And if I
Excellent.
collaborate with
Mm.
people on patches, it will also be available to all the collaborators in the patch. So now we created our first own op. Nice.
Nice. And like I've seen some of this is a little bit of a tangent, but like what you mentioned about collaboration, like I see it sometimes in the UI, like I can invite people, and I think in my uh, website panel, there's also like stuff like Teams, and I think maybe we should even do like a tutorial on that at some point because I think it's pretty cool, but it's still a lot of stuff to cover as well.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'll write that down. Yeah.
Okay, now we got our user op. We kind of got our problem solved, and we have this milliseconds in here. We don't need this date time anymore. So
Nice.
this solves our problems, and it will solve our problem in all eternity and all patches and everywhere.
That's cool. Can I now like how do like if I feel like this is just amazing now. Like it's so much better. Can I submit it to the team or like where can I just like talk about this with other people? Like we have a Discord, I guess, where we can do that, but then is there like an official way of submitting edits or fixes of an operator I find?
I would prefer like doing this in Discord on issue on the public issue tracker. It always helps if you like have an op and updated it or did some great creation with custom a code that you have in an op. Just
Mhm.
create a patch and publish it, and then share it with us, and then we can take a look at it. Yeah.
Oh, so if I now publish this patch, it will work. Like it's not like the people that are now gonna look at it on the public website, they will see my operator as well. It's not like they need it in their library or whatever.
No, no. If you publish the patch, then this operator works in that
Mm.
patch and can be looked at.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So publish and notify the team on Discord or GitHub.
Yep.
Okay, nice.
And then another thing that we do, lots of JavaScript ecosystem libraries exist, and there's lots and lots of use cases to cover, and we cannot cover everything, and we also don't want to have every basically JavaScript library and functionality in the cables core, because that would blow up your exports. But there is a few of them. So if we go back to this brackets, you see that there's some core libraries that cables uses, mostly about setting and getting variables, doing shaders and lights. But more interesting, I guess, would be these libs, which is a curated list of some libraries that we put into cables as an availability to the developer. So there's some AR, toolkit, ammo, e-charts. Some have ops already, some don't. So if you need a library on that, then you can load this by doing this and then adding the library.
And
And
like
this,
I'm like sorry, but like I'm so new to this stuff. So JavaScript itself has a bunch of functions that are like universal. Then there's a lot of uh, programmers and communities that create their own libraries to extend uh, or like give me functions that aren't built into JavaScript, right? So like if I need something very specific for AR, for example, there might be a library for it. So
yeah.
then I can use that in cables. Okay.
If it's in our libraries, and there's like lots of services where you can look what kind of libraries are in there. So they have like 4,000
Uh-huh.
libraries, and if you do something like math,
Mm,
there's math libraries, or if you do um,
I see. So
geodata,
some of them might not be in the like default drop down.
yeah, most of them, to be honest, but yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
so, but now I still want to do this and try this, and also do a thing where this doesn't happen. Um, not want to convolute my namespace, right, with stuff that is one off. So you see my date. I tried in preparation for this
Mhm.
tutorial. But I need like a one-off thingy. I really want to do this in this patch and not really going to share this. Quick op. So now we're doing custom op, which we also will share in the links below the video. And
Mhm.
now this looks different because we didn't clone an op, and it has like two ports that lead in, and these are JavaScript and a library. Um, and this
I
JavaScript
see.
is back to square one in creating ops. We also even linking the documentation, and now we can create an op
So
from scratch.
custom custom op allows me to add um, libraries and write my own op without having to use the default default libraries that are included cables. Like I had with the timer. Like I could drop down and select libraries from a drop down, but I didn't see any button to like upload a library or link a
Yeah,
library. So custom op is for like totally custom stuff.
right.
Is
If you
okay.
really need custom stuff and you need
Mhm.
this one custom library and it's not in cables, or you want to propose something to us, then just go with this.
Yeah,
And
and so I don't need to even uh, do the copy edit stuff of existing ops. Like I should just go directly to custom op.
yeah, then again,
Mhm.
you will have to, like, you're starting from scratch here, and you have to yeah, basically write your own op. But again, there's lots of documentation. We're even linking this here for convenience.
Uh-huh.
But if you now do something like um, const,
So it's
um,
the same exact stuff. Like I
it
can
is.
actually copy paste the entire date and time into a custom op.
You could do this, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not like some special code for the custom op. Okay.
let's do something like this, timestamp. Let's work with time a bit more because it's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have to. So this again we can save, and as you can see, like next to the
Yeah,
two
port
ports,
now.
we just created
Mm-hmm.
a new input port, which is a number, uh, basically an integer, and we have this option here, and we can now do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
Quick thing is so, and now we want const out string. Again, save this one. Now we have an out port, and now we do something like in timestamp, and you might get where I'm going to. We want to get this timestamp and turn it into something human readable,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good example for small tiny library that we can use, and then how to integrate this. So if the timestamp changes, then I wanna do.
So it kind of looks like you already have a library in mind here. Like,
Yeah, as you can see, like opened is moment.js, which is a small library um,
mm-hmm.
that works in an easy way, um,
Mm-hmm.
and we can use it in two different ways, which we will show. So the out. Let me quickly finish the out string set, and this is gonna be what we're displaying. But right now we are hard coding this to do moment.
I actually didn't even know that website existed. This CDN.js, like,
There's
kind
a
of like
few of them, like but yeah, this one is really nice and easy to use, as we will see. I'm just disconnecting this now and putting this in here,
mm-hmm.
and then I did something wrong. Ah no, the timestamp didn't change. We're using this timestamp. So this now doesn't really do anything, right?
Yeah.
Because as we can see, just quick introduction, but again, we have this in documentation. We are creating an import, and if the import changes, we're setting our output to the hard-coded string, a hard-coded string moment. So this is now
Mm-hmm.
updating moment a lot, but doesn't make any sense. So we want a human readable date, and I found this, and we're actually using this in cables. But as a simple example, we can now do something like, okay, I'm downloading this, one of these. Either you want locales or you don't want, but moment.js is just small JavaScript library that then gives the ability to do something like 10 years ago in 11 hours, an hour ago, and do some more date formatting and also calculations with dates. Subtract 1 day from, which is a lot easier than doing divided by the 86,400 seconds and what. So we're using this. So we're downloading this, which I actually did before, and now the easiest way to do this is we just basically upload this to cables, as we do with images and 3D meshes and whatever, and then we select this library um, from here. So now I should be able, like after this library is loaded, I should be able to do something like this moment format in my custom app. So I'm
Nice.
again copy pasting. um, so and then we output readable. Let's see what happens. Well, looks as if it is doing something, right?
Definitely updating now.
Need to scale this a bit.
Cool.
So now, just to recap a bit, like we wrote our app, we input the timestamp, we then use moment.js, a library that we just uploaded to cables, to reformat it to this format, and then we're outputting this.
Nice.
So now we have all the power of moment.js in here, and we can even do something. Yeah, basically every example that's in here. So this now does moment calendar. Let's pick this one. As a bit more readable. So now rescale this a bit, and now we can use all the power of moment.js in our custom app. So now
Cool.
what's the
But
difference? Sorry.
it does seem like I need to read up a little bit on the like functions for ops from the cables documentation, and also learn a bit of JavaScript or how to do that, because I think it would help a lot here.
Yeah, for introduction, I guess it makes sense to not start from scratch with custom op, but do, as you said, like copy over stuff from somewhere else, or look at the code in the ops and see how we do stuff, and also again like how these writing ops works. So another way of doing so now what's the difference between custom op and this what we call user op? So custom op, as we see, is an op that exists in this patch. A user op is an op that exists in your namespace. So I can now copy paste this custom op into my patches, but this will not be available here, for example. So this is just this one op, and I cannot select this here. If I do this, I will create a new custom op with empty code and no libraries and stuff like this, right?
I see. So it probably would be nice to like create some comments or something like that, or write in the description of the patch that, hey, I'm using this stuff, so in 2 years I know what I was doing.
Yeah. And if you're working with libraries again, then there's another feature that we can do. I mean, there's what we just did. We uploaded moment.js here and selected this. This will now be exported if you export your patch and put it on your website. That will work, and it will also export moment.js and reference that moment.js. If you're just trying out things or have some different library that you for some reason cannot download, you can still go here and basically just copy this link, and that will then give you these kind of links like Cloudflare. It's on their CDN. They have a pinned version, so if nothing should change on that version, and then you can go here and put this in here. And now it's doing the same thing, but it's loaded. It loaded moment.js from their CDN.
I see. And then what would happen now if I would export my project?
It would still work. It would still load this library from the CDN. So your library is now not packaged anymore in your export, but you're dependent, as you say, on this CDN. It has some perks, as maybe sometimes you can reference latest, and you don't have to cover updates. If they change something security related there, you get the updates. Also delivering to wherever is a lot faster. I mean, it's a CDN. They are distributing
Right.
content, and it will be faster loaded. With the
Unless
drawback
they
of
go down.
not pinning. Yeah, if they go down, they go down. That's true. And you're not in control of this library. You don't have an
Mm,
export that works without any external dependencies.
nice.
So with these two concepts, namely user ops that can be shared and copied, and basically most of the time start from being cloned from other ops, um, and the custom op that basically has the ability to load external libraries and one-off code basically. So
Yeah.
which but then is contained to dispatch. It should be possible to extend cables as you want, and with a lot of functionality that we might not have been provided, or even
Hmm.
think have not whatever
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we didn't think of yet.
yeah. And it's kind of like the same workflow, I would say. So if I make a custom op, I can publish it, people can see it, and then I can go to Discord or GitHub and then say, "Hey guys, I made this awesome custom op with some crazy AI library that's now generating textures or something like that."
It's also a good way of trying out stuff. If you find a nice library and want to see how this works with cables, then just put it in there and try.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, I guess we kind of covered like some of the basics. I don't know. We can see how definitely like comment below if you have any more questions or you want us to cover something else, and definitely do that.
Yeah, there's lots
Uh,
of more stuff. We link a lot of documentation, and just to mention the 3D stuff, we also have custom shader, which basically is something like custom op, but for shader code, where you then can do your fragment and vertex shaders in there. So that may be another tutorial,
mm,
as well as maybe, as you said, like collaboration and then working with different code bases and people and contributing code, and yeah, lots of stuff to cover.
yeah, but quickly though, like I definitely saw quite a big section in the documentation about shader code writing as well. So uh, you can already check that out if you don't want to wait for a tutorial or something like that. So yeah. Oh, actually, there is already some tutorials about it, but the docs are have been improved in the past. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I guess I'm gonna go look for some libraries to add and play around with stuff.
Yeah, let me know how that works.
Yeah. Maybe I'll publish it and ask to be added to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time. This is definitely like good look at how I can get started.
Absolutely welcome.
Nice. All right. See you.